Open Aberdeen show again here in Broadbent Arena. We do need those first couple of classes in the makeup ring on both breeds. And we are ready for Class 1 Beef Builder Percentage Heifers over in your Junior Braunvieh show, as well as Class 1 Spring Heifer Calves over in your Full Blood Aberdeen Female show. Again, we are ready for those first classes to be making their way into the ring. I would like to take this time to introduce your Junior Braunvieh show judge, Mr. Austin Eggoff from Lincoln City, Indiana, where he and his wife Jessica and son David own and operate J&AE Livestock, raising Simmental, Angus, and Red Angus cattle, focusing primarily on show heifers. Austin is a graduate of Purdue University with a degree in animal science and was a member of the 2016 Purdue Livestock Judging Team. He is currently employed by Transover Genetics, serving as the Indiana Client Service Rep. If you could join me in giving Mr. Austin Eggoff a round of applause. And again, now in the ring is Class 1 Beef Builder Percentage Heifers here in the North American Junior Braunvieh show. These heifers' date of birth range from March 12th through March 3rd of 2023. And over in your Aberdeen show, we are ready for Class 1 Spring Heifer Calves. These heifers' date of birth range from April 15th through April 4th of 2023. Again, we're ready for that Class 1 Spring Heifer Calves in your Full Blood Female show.
Well, it sure is an honor to be here on the Green Shavings to judge for the first time, and we sure have a really nice class of beef builder females here to start off the day. I'm going to start with this black heifer here in front. She just has the clear advantage in overall mass and overall softness in that center body, and overall is just way more expressive in her middle rib and really balances up from tail to nose really well. You know, follow her up with the browner colored heifer, which is built really nice and gets out in tracks, but just, you know, falls behind in terms of her overall center body and mass throughout.
And first place in Class 1 over in your Junior Braunvieh show goes to entry at number 2, Miss JMS Dory 3L374, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place in that class goes to entry number 1, Miss JMS Pareda 3L395, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 2 Beef Builder Percentage Heifers over in your Junior Braunvieh show. These heifers' date of birth range from February 19th through January 16th of 2023. And again, over in your Aberdeen show, now in the ring is Class 1 Spring Heifer Calves. These heifers' date of birth range from April 15th through April 4th of 2023. I would also like to take this time to introduce your Aberdeen show here today, Mr. Clint Hall. Clint and his wife Kelly Hall own and operate Long Hall Cattle of Hillsboro, Ohio, and Maysville, Kentucky. They are a multi-breed C-stock producing operation focusing on Charolais and Limousin cattle. They are also managing partners of Folly Farms Limousines. At Long Haul, they produce and merchandise show heifers, bulls, and replacements privately through multiple annual online sales. Clinton has judged numerous shows throughout the U.S. and Canada at all levels and is honored to be here with us at the 50th anniversary of the North American. If you could join me in giving Mr. Clinton Hall a round of applause for being with us today on the Green Shavings.
Well, again, it's a pleasure to be here with you folks for our Aberdeen show, and it's been a long week. We exhibited cattle here, and I've been here since last Thursday, and judged in this ring for the last couple of days, and it's a real pleasure to be here. We got a really nice pair of April heifer calves, and there's quite a bit of difference in these two, and I just like the freshness and just the eye appeal that the first heifer has, the young lady in the green and white stripe. She is so good in her front 1/3 and really, really feminine necked and just ultra cool. I think where she has the added advantage is when we put these two in motion. I think she's better at the ground. She's got more flex off of both ends. She reaches off her front end, reaches out for her knee a lot better. She sets down on her rear too quite a bit more functional for me, and I just see more longevity in her. I like the balance and the completeness in the heifer. And number two, I like her depth of rib. She's probably the heifer that's got a notch more natural muscle in her. But, I think she's just not quite as refined as that one that wins the class. Really a good pair of heifers to start our day off here in the Aberdeen show. Congratulate those two on a good pair of heifers.
And first place in Class 1 Spring Heifer Calves over in your full-blood Aberdeen show goes to entry number 3 at TCS Portial to B5L, exhibited by Kayana Marie Farmer of Gallatin, Missouri. Second place goes to entry number 2, UF Miss Sassy 35H18L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 2 Spring Heifer Calves over in your Aberdeen full-blood show. These heifers' date of birth range from March 26th through March 1st of 2023. Correction. First place in Class 1 goes to entry number 2, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And second place in Class 1 goes to entry number 3, Kayana Marie Farmer of Gallatin, Missouri. Congratulations. And over in your Braunvieh show, we do need Class 2 to be making their way into the ring. Again, Class 2, we are ready for you to be making your way into the ring. These heifers' date of birth range from February 19th through January 16th of 2023.
Nice single entry March heifer calf here, one that's got some power and some dimension, big-bodied. She's fighting the halter quite a lot, so maybe when we get her back out here for a division and she has some other peers out here, maybe she'll get out and go a little better. But what's on the standstill, there's certainly a lot we have to like about her, just her power and her dimension. I like her rib shape. She's sure nice enough hip. She's good at the ground, big boned, and pretty functional. So we'll see her here in a minute when she comes back out for division. Nice single entry. Give her a good round of applause.
Thank you, Clint. And first place in Class 2 goes to entry number 4, UF Miss Zarula 38 10L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. And please note, entry number 5 was a scratch. We're now ready for Class 3 Junior Heifer Calves over in your full-blood Aberdeen show here in Broadbent Arena. These heifers' date of birth range from February 28th through January 6th of 2023. Again, now in the ring is Class 3 Junior Heifer Calves in your Aberdeen show.
Trio of heifers here that differ vastly in their types and kinds. For me, I'm going to start with the black heifer up front, as I just feel she's the combination female. Here in the group, you'd sure like to pretty her up in her front 1/3, but when you get her in the motion and study her from behind, especially, is where she has the advantage. I feel she hits the ground with the best contact and is set back in her pasture in the best angle as she flexes off of that hock. As we get into the tiger stripe heifer here in a second, I really do like this heifer the best in her overall levelness and attractiveness through her front 1/3, but when you pull in behind her, you'd really like to open her up in her flank and forward and then set her back softer and more smoothly in terms of her hock and pastern as she comes to the ground there. Congratulations. As she comes to the ground and pushes off of that there. You got your browner tinted heifer here that just kind of falls out in terms of balance. Like to smooth her up and lay her back more in terms of the angle of her shoulder and push it back into her chest cavity. But nonetheless, a nice broody type of female to close out the class.
And placings in Class 2 over in your Junior Braunvieh show are as follows. First place goes to entry number 3, Miss MF Jade, exhibited by Aubrey Pettit of Page, Texas. And second place goes to entry number 4, Alexander Monte Amber, exhibited by Gage McWhitter of Wolf City, Texas. And third place goes to entry number 5, JBB Bonnie, exhibited by Eric Pettit of Page, Texas. Now in the ring is your Bilf Beater Percentage Champion female heifer.
Well, this is a deep class over here in our Aberdeen show and our full blood portion. I think the heifer that wins the class though does so pretty commandingly. When you get this one stopped, man, she just really paints a great picture. She's really good in her lines and just ultra cool up to her front. She's got enough shape and she's got enough dimension for me. I think she just bounces up, and that silhouette is so nice. She's the one that, when you look at her front 1/3, she's the best in her shoulder and comes out high out of her shoulder. I like her out to her hip. She's a heifer that's just really puts together a lot of things that I like, and I see just a lot of future in her. Tough decision here in this next pair, and I think these are both good cattle. The added advantage of length to side and length to hip goes to this heifer that comes out in second. She's tremendously long-bodied, and yet when she gets out and goes for one that is structurally that long and that long spine, she still steps her foot down inappropriate. I think that just that added length gets her in that second hole. The third heifer is a lot like that young man's heifer that he showed earlier. She's just very, very complete. She's very balanced. I'd like to see her have just a notch more length. I'd like to see her stretched out in her front 1/3. Big-bodied, robust-ribbed heifer comes out next, and I think there's certainly some cow power in this one. She runs downhill just a little bit from her shoulder back. I think when you really analyze this heifer, I'd maybe give her just a bit more base width. Young man's heifer that completes the class, another high-quality individual. She hadn't given us a very good look today for that young man. She's wanting to just labor so much and just drag around, and I think if she were turned loose, we'd probably like her quite a lot more, but today that's where she winds up. Completes a very good class. Give him a nice round of applause.
As we pull these two first classes out for our calf champion here in the division, we sure do have a very high quality set of cattle, and I can say that with all honesty. There's one heifer out here that just takes it away to a whole new level, and that's what makes this one of the best livestock shows in the country. On just the types and differences and kinds of cattle you bring out here, obviously there's cattle in this division that have different roles in the industry, but you can surely find where my priorities lay, and that's going to be structure, balance, and overall cow power. And the young lady out of the first class in the red shirt is going to be your champion. We're going to follow her up with the young lady in the black shirt with the browner tinged heifer.
And your division percentage champion heifer goes to entry number 2, Miss JMS Dory, L374, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And your reserve division goes to entry number 3, Miss MF Jade, exhibited by Aubrey Pettit of Page, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 5 over in your Beef Builder Percentage Heifer show. This heifer's date of birth is February 13th of 2022.
Here for our calf champion division in our Aberdeen show. I'm really happy with the 3 heifers that we had out here that we bring back that are class winners. We had the one that was a single entry, but boy, she fits right in line with these two, or the 2 other class winners. I like these 3 because they're very youthful and they're very fresh looking. I think they're very ladylike in their appearance. I think all 3 of these heifers are extremely good in their front 1/3. They're very angular shouldered cattle. They're still cattle that have enough rib, and I think they've got enough muscle because they are females and they are heifers, but they're heifers that when you get behind them, you see some shape to them. I think just a lot of production. I think we got 2 nice seconds over there. I think a champion deal is pretty easy for me, but as we get and sort through them, I think it's a little more difficult in our reserve. But our heifer calf that won that first class is ultra cool. I like her in her lines, just like I said earlier. I think that one's good at the ground, and I think she's really, really constructed pretty well. When you analyze her compared to these other 2, she wants to get just ever so high in her top when she gets in motion, but I think, I certainly don't consider that to be a horrible thing. The biggest bone one's probably the one in second here. She's the stoutest footed one. She's a heifer that's got a good foot and a good leg to her. Again, another heifer that's chiseled out nice to her shoulder. I think she's got enough rib shape and enough design out to her hip to make her a really nice one down the road. This last one, man, that one just paints a picture and it's such a nice silhouette. Really balanced from her forerib back to her flank. I think that one just puts a lot of bells and whistles together. She'll be our division champion, and congratulations. Then we bring this second was heifer that was in that last class. I think that one's just got from her shoulder back, got that added extra length aside. She's not quite as unique about her front 1/3. I'm going to use the young lady in the orange here for our reserve division. Congratulations.
We have a single entry in this class and is also an automatic division winner from what I understand. The young lady brings us a really nice, heavily constructed heifer here. I'd sure like to change her just a little bit and soften her up in that center rib, but nonetheless a really long bodied, long pattern, really nice made female to win this class and division. Congratulations.
And first place in Class 5 and automatic percentage champion yearling heifer goes to entry number 10, RF Braunvieh cow K245, exhibited by Katie Alexander of Brashear, Texas. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your Beef Builder Percentage Grand Champion heifer here at the 50th anniversary of the North American. Again, we're ready to select your Beef Builder Percentage Grand Champion heifer here in your Braunvieh show.
A nice single entry over here on our Aberdeen side, and a senior heifer calf, one again that's real maternal in her build, a big-bodied one that has just a lot of dimension to her rib, and I like that. Certainly long enough sided. When she gets in motion and she's fighting a halter a little bit, it makes her a little more uncoordinated. But I think probably if she weren't fighting a halter quite so badly, I believe that maybe she'd get out and go a little better. We'll discuss her a little further when she comes back out for a division. But a nice single entry. Give her a nice round of applause.
And catching up over in your full-blood Aberdeen show, placings in Class 3 are as followed. First place goes to entry number 8, EMP Black Gold, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Second place goes to entry number 9, AWC How Sweet 02L, exhibited by A&W Cattle of Haviland, Ohio. Third place goes to entry number 11, exhibited by Thomas Cattle Company of Gatlin, Missouri. Fourth place goes to entry number 10, exhibited by A&W Cattle of Haviland, Ohio. Fifth place goes to entry number 6, exhibited by Patterson Family Farm of Findlay, Ohio. And please note entry number 7 was a scratch. And your champion junior heifer calf goes to entry number 7, UF Miss Tiara 44G01L, exhibited by entry number 7. Congratulations. Your reserve champion junior heifer goes to entry number 4. Entry number 4, UF Miss Zara, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. And first place in Class 6 goes to entry number 14, UF Miss Yes I Am, 44E, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio.
As we pull these females out here for your grand drive-in, your Beef Builder show here today, I'm absolutely floored in terms of the quality this show has brought us today and the small number ahead they had to offer. And, as an exhibitor, your family and the breeders of these cattle, you ought to be awfully proud of what you've put together here. I won't sit here and elaborate on the cattle, just over excessively, but there's two that I just think overall put all the pieces and priorities together in the best manner in terms of balance, structural integrity, and overall brood cow power and what I think they can generate down the road, whether they go back in to build into a higher percentage Braunvieh or go into a different aspect in the industry. I'll go out and select your grand in reserve.
And your Beef Builder Percentage Grand Champion heifer here at the 50th anniversary of the North American goes to entry number 2, Miss JMS Dory L374, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. And your reserve champion heifer goes to entry number 1, Miss JMS Prada L395, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And we're now ready for class number 9 over in your junior Braunvieh show. Again, we are ready for class 9 junior Braunvieh females. These females' date of birth range from May 18th, 2023. And now in the ring over in your full-blood Aberdeen show is Class 7 Senior Heifer Calves. These heifers' date of birth range from October 29th through September 3rd of 2022.
This is an intriguing class over here in the Aberdeen show, and I think really 3 awfully good females, and kind of splitting hairs. The young man in the cowboy hat's going to win our class, and I think that's just the most complete one. I think when you look at her, she's a heifer that's just so good in her lines. I like her so much when she's standing still. I mean, she's not quite as big-bodied as maybe the heifer that's going to wind up in second. These two are actually switched. The young lady here in the black sweaters are our second place one. But the young man's heifer, he gets her stopped and parked, and man, he gets her just spot on. And I think that one's just so cool in her design. I think she's a little neater in her chest floor. I think she's a little neater in her shoulder. She's certainly better when you look at her out over her hip. And I think her tail head sets down in her. And I think when you study these two heifers in first and second and get right up on them, she's a wider pinned one than a heifer that comes in second. I just really like the balance and the completeness of the one that wins the class. Bigger sided, longer sided heifer is the one that comes in second. She's got a lot of rib to her. She wants to just tuck down in her pins when you watch her go, and it makes her stick her tail head up a little bit, and it makes her look just a little bit more inappropriate in the way she sits out through her hip. And it would change that about that one. We like her quite a lot. The young lady's heifer that completes the class, daggone nice heifer, and she really is. From the side profile, I like this one quite a lot. When I get behind her, I get a little bit disappointed because she does want to get kind of narrow from behind in terms of her pin width, and I change her in that regard. She's of this trio of heifers, the deeper chested one, and I think she just winds up logically in that third hole. Good group of heifers. Give them that trio and those exhibitors a nice round of applause.
As we get into our purebred show here, we got two heifers that sure have a lot of similarities in terms of their overall design. We're going to keep them the way they came into the ring here, and the young lady in the red shirt will be first. This heifer just has the advantage in terms of being more ruggedly designed in terms of her foot and bone. And when you set her into motion, she combines that uniqueness with a silkier, smoother stride as she just sits out there and moves flawlessly around the ring. When you pull these two in behind, next to each other, she's more pulled apart in terms of her pins, squarer in her chest floor, and overall squarer at her foundation, and that's where her true advantage lies. The heifer in second, the young lady struggled with a little bit, but did a darn good job holding on to her. Has the advantage in terms of overall freshness of condition at this stage in the game, but we'd just like to change her ever so slightly in her angles from her hock to her stifle, and as well open her up in that pin set.
And placings in Class 9 over in your full-blood purebred Braunvieh show goes to entry number 17, Miss JMS Celine L414, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. And second place in Class 9 goes to entry number 18, JBB Leno Joe 360L, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 10. These heifers' date of birth range from March 30th through March 22nd of 2023. And first place in Class 7 over in your full-blood Aberdeen show goes to entry number 16, TCS Jasmine 61F 39K, exhibited by Winston McGregor and Anthony Chester. Second place goes to entry number 15, UF Miss 12D, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Third place goes to entry number 18, TCS Carmen 23H, exhibited by Abigail Anthony Chester of New Hampshire. Congratulations. We're now selecting your champion senior heifer calf.
Got a nice trio out here, two class winners and a second here for our senior calf champion. And I think these are all three good cattle. That last class was very tough. And this single entry heifer here that we didn't comment too much about, I think that heifer's one that when she gets stopped, she's another one that you like quite a bit when she's on the standstill. We put her in motion. She wants to get just a little bit higher in her top relative to the heifer behind her. But that one's got some nice balance to her. The young man's heifer, I think, as we just talked about, in that class is one that's just so complete. I mean, you get to the side of her and she just paints such a nice profile picture. Really good from her chest back to her flank and extremely good out through her hip. And I like her pen width. I see some real maternal look in that female. Long enough fronted, really good in her shoulder. The heifer that was second in that class, I think, was just one that had the power and the balance. And we're going to leave that pair of heifers together in this particular division. Young man in the cowboy hat, you'll be our champion. Young lady second in that class will be a reserve. Congratulate them.
And your champion senior heifer calf goes to entry number 16, TCS Jasmine 61F 39K, exhibited by Winston McGregor and Anthony Chester. Congratulations. And reserve champion goes to entry number 15, UF Miss 12D, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio.
Got a pair of heifers in this class that differ vastly in terms of their shape, their size, and overall pattern. And one could argue them either way, in my opinion. But however, I'd like to keep them the way they came in again. I just like this darker pigmented heifer in terms of her overall length, the spine, and overall smoothness of structure. I like the way she ties that lower shoulder deeper and smoother into her chest profile there. And overall, when you set them out into the motion, she sits and plants that hawk square at the ground and pushes off of it much more smoothly and gracefully as females should. Young man's lighter tinted heifer here sure has the power and overall mass and advantage and overall ruggedness. However, I just like to close her up in that shoulder comparatively in the class and to make her just look a little more feminine in that front 1/3 and give her just a little more set in terms of her hind leg.
And first place in Class 10 over in your full-blood purebred Braunvieh show goes to entry at number 19, Miss JMS London, L399, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place in Class 10 goes to entry number 8, JBB Laura, 397L, exhibited by Coy Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 11, purebred, full-blood Braunviehs. These heifers' date of birth range from February 27th through February 6th of 2023.
Nice pair of heifers over here on our Aberdeen side, and I think a relatively close placing in these cattle. I think they're both, again, high-quality heifers. A young man in a cowboy hat is going to lead off the class with one. I think when we stand on a standstill, she's just quite a bit more balanced. I think that, if you look at her, she's certainly one that's neater in her chest and up through her front 1/3. She's a bigger, stouter boned one of the pair. I guess when she gets out and goes, she is just a nickel restricted, but I think she's still athletic and flexible enough. She's certainly better at the ground. When you watch her go off of her rear two, she sets down her on her pastern a little more adequately and a little more appropriately, I guess, if you will. I just like her so much from a silhouette standpoint, and then when I get behind her, I like her just her added dimension. Your red heifer is really a cool colored one that from her shoulder back I like quite a lot. I like her length of side. I like her out through her hip. She needs to be more comfortable on those rear two. When she sets down, every once in a while you watch her, she just gets more rigid in her pastern, and that's just one of my pet peeves. And she's not quite as neat about her front 1/3. You look at her down through her chest floor, like to clean her up, maybe lengthen her out in her neck just ever so slightly to get her up over that heifer that wins the class. Good pair there in that division.
And first place in Class 11 over in your full-blood Aberdeen show goes entry number 22, EZ Crystal 33K, exhibited by Winston McGregor Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. And second place goes to entry number 21, NE Karma, exhibited by Annery and Glenn Card of Blencaire, Massachusetts. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 12 Spring Yearling Heifers. These heifers' date of birth range from April 25th through April 20th of 2022.
Nice trio of heifers here in this class that rounds out this division. A class I'd really like to change a few things off throughout and really just sorting here on performance and structure. The young lady's heifer out front here combines those two pieces for me the best as far as just being able to function and utilize her hock in the correct manner and being size appropriate for these aged cattle in my opinion. The young lady's heifer that comes out next just falls behind our class winner in the way she uses her hind leg, and especially when you watch her as she moves from behind and wants to pull them hocks just ever so slightly, but nonetheless also a very high quality animal within the class. The young man's heifer rounding out the class just falls out of bed in terms of size and performance and overall weight per day of age. Nonetheless, she is a nice animal and does move and tracks very squarely, but she just simply needs to be a little bit bigger.
And first place in Class 11 over in your Braunvieh show goes to entry number 21, Miss J.M. Paris L365, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place in that class goes to entry number 35, J.B.B. Lovely Grace L501C, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 9, JNB JBB Image Close Etta, exhibited by Coy Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Please note, entry number 20 was a scratch. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Over here on our Aberdeen side, a nice pair of heifers. Certainly the added advantage of just power goes to the heifer that we are going to lead off the class with. I think when you look at these two cattle on the standstill, she just really overpowers the other one in body build and just type and kind. She's the more rugged bone one that just stouter featured, and I think that she winds herself to the top pretty handily. I will say that this heifer in second is pretty green in her condition and certainly got some good parts. She's a nickel longer necked and maybe even a nickel better in her shoulder than the heifer that wins the class. But when we get behind her shoulder, we just need to maybe just change her out through her hip and just give her a little more base width to compete with the one that wins the class. But nice pair of heifers. Give them a good round of applause.
And first place in Class 12 over in your full-blood Aberdeen show goes to entry number 24, UF Miss Sassy 42C, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And second place in that class goes to entry number 23, SME Red Asher, exhibited by Ripley Hill of Sendale, Kentucky. Congratulations.
Quite the lineup here in our first division in our purebred show. A lot of differences within the cattle, even though they're all pretty similar in terms of their color and shape, but there's a lot of minor details and structural changes and overall things in terms of their, mass and ruggedness and how they hit the ground in terms of their foot. For me, it's going to come down to two, and it's going to be your young lady out of the second class will be your champion, and the calf out of the first class will be your reserve.
Just a single entry here in our Aberdeen side, and one a March yearling heifer that I think is awfully nice. I think this one again, in terms of her balance and her makeup, is just really cool. Maybe we knock a nick of that chest off of her, but boy, when you get past that, I mean, she's really boldly constructed at the ground and big boned and big footed. I think that one gets out and goes. Even though she's fighting a halter, I think she's still got enough athleticism and agility to her. I think that one just really could handle a lot of competition, certainly within this age division. Give that young lady a nice round of applause on the heifer. It's given her a little bit of a battle.
And first place in Class 13 over in your full-blood Aberdeen show goes to entry number 27, UF Miss Yes I Am 09E, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 14 junior yearling heifers. And over in your full-blood Braunvieh show, your division champion goes to entry number 19, Miss JMS London 399, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And your reserve division goes to entry number 17, Miss JMS Celine L414, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 12 full-blood Braunvieh females. These females' date of birth range from January 10th through January 2nd of 2023.
Another single entry and another big-bodied one that's certainly got a lot of power to her. I think, when you get behind her and just study her, she's tremendously wide and built and constructed wide, and I like that about her. I think on the standstill she's got a really cool look. I wish when she got in motion she would just be a little more flexible off both ends. She wants to labor quite a bit off of those rear two, and if we can make her just move out a little more freely, I think we'd like her even better. But a nice single entry and one that we'll comment a little further on in that division. Congratulations.
And first place in Class 14 junior yearling heifers over in your Aberdeen show goes to entry number 28, UF Miss Star Celebrity 10Z, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Please note entry number 29 was a scratch. We're now ready to select your champion junior yearling heifer here in your full-blood Aberdeen show. Again, we are ready to select your champion junior yearling heifer.
As we get into this next division of purebred females here, we got a lot of differences within the class, but yet a lot of similarities in a pair of them. A heifer that I used to start the class here just has the clear advantage in overall density and mass and overall smoothness. When you study her, as you set her into motion, she carries her more rugged and more bigger circumference of foot and bone around the ring in a much smoother fashion, and where she has the true advantage is in terms of the softness of her spine as you pull her to lead. Yes, she fights the halter just a little bit on the go, but as she collects herself and takes off, she holds that spine so much flatter and smoother, and is overall just set more set down in her overall design. Young man's heifer here in second. Like I said, this pair of heifers in second and third both get wound up in that spine and roach up ever so slightly. The young man's lighter colored heifer here has a slight advantage in overall just putting that hip together, in a more massive and square design, being more pulled apart in terms of her pin set, and overall carries that squareness to the ground in a square fashion. Young man's darker tinted heifer rounding out the class here. You do have to appreciate her added length of spine, but that kind of works in her disadvantage as she slopes off from hooks to pins and really likes to get up in that spine. You'd also like to change her ever so slightly in terms of that chest floor, but nonetheless, just a really nice long pattern female to round out the class here.
Well, probably the best thing to just start with is just say, wow. This is a really good division of heifers here, and I think, you got a couple of them for me. That's a really tough decision, honestly. And I think we got 4 good cattle. I think we got 2 that separate themselves pretty well. And that young man in the lead here in the cowboy hat, I think that one's just really, really good from the side. I love her ultra coolness, and she's probably the neatest necked one that we have out here. She's probably the neatest headed one that we have out here. Is she perfect when she gets out and goes? Probably not. I think she's flexible and agile enough, but I don't think that she is the most athletic one. But I think, boy, when you get from the side profile, she paints such a nice picture. She gets behind this one. She's really ladylike, really from pretty every dimension. She comes back and she's wide enough pin. She's not the widest based one, but, as I said, I think that one from the side profile is just really ultra cool. The heifer behind her is one that's just as big a boned and powerful as any. From her shoulder back, I think, you like the power and dimension that she has. She changed just ever so slightly off her shoulder and give her just a nickel more angulation. As we watch her go, as you can see there pretty evidently, she wants to get a little higher in her loin, and we just flatten her out in her top. This next one is one that I like a lot. I think this heifer I think she's the widest constructed one. I think she's the widest when you get behind her. She's certainly the widest penned one, and that means a lot in my world. I think that's the kind that just lay down and have a calf, and you don't have to worry about it. She's got a nickel extra bone relative to a couple of the others. She's the most powerfully constructed one. I think that's a given. I think, if you look at her out through her front 1/3, I'd like to see her just a nickel higher out of her shoulder when her neck comes out. As she is clean chested as the one that wins that first class, but she's probably not. But she does have just that added dimension, just that added rib, and I like that one quite a lot. Big-bodied, stout-featured ones. This heifer won the last class, and as we commented, we need to make that one looser and more constructed a little better in those rear two to get her up in the contention. But certainly a nice class winner. Give this division a big round of applause. I think there's some good cattle out here. I'll go show you the 2 I like the best.
Another pair that differs quite vastly in terms of their type and kind. Uses young lady's heifer to win the class here, and one that I think has a lot of quality to her. I really appreciate this one's overall stoutness and ruggedness in terms of that bold sprung center rib she has to offer there. I'd like to clean her up ever so slightly in terms of her throat latch and head and neck, and square her up just a little bit more. But with the power and mass she carries that mass all the way to the ground in a square fashion, I think this one's a really high quality one. One thing to note, maybe we'd like to refine her in terms of her teat size and length, but right now I think this one just has a whole lot of quality in terms of being a big broody female. Young man's heifer that has the advantage, in teat quality, really does have a nice long pattern to her, but she just gets a little too flat and plain in terms of her overall muscularity and carries that flatness all the way into the ground into her narrower track and skeleton, but nonetheless a good project for this young man.
And placings in Class 13 over in your Braunvieh show are as followed. First place goes entry number 27, SW Lola, exhibited by Natalie Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Second place goes entry number 26, SW Vivian, exhibited by Jeremy Gonsdale Jr. of Palestine, Texas. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 14, full-blood Braunviehs. These heifers' date of birth range from October 13th through September 22nd of 2022. And your champion junior yearling heifer over in your Aberdeen show goes to entry number 27, UF Miss Yes I Am 09E, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve division champion goes to entry number 22, Easy Crystal 33K, exhibited by Winston McGregor Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. And now entering the ring is Class 18 senior yearling heifers over in your full-blood Aberdeen show. These heifers' date of birth range from September 3rd through September 2nd of 2021.
I think this is an interesting class over here, and I think at first glance, I thought the heifer that's going to be second was going to be our class winner, just because she's so bold and big and powerful. But I think when you really start looking at these two cattle and really start analyzing them and watch them get in motion, and I think that's really what separates the heifer that's going to win the class is the slicker-haired one here, and to my right, that heifer has the added advantage of being a longer-sided, longer-hipped one. I think she just is is more balanced. I think from her chest floor back, she's not as deep as the one behind her, but, I think in terms of just her overall makeup, she just finds her way to the top. I like her so much better in terms of her athleticism. She's pretty cool-necked, and I think her head comes out a little higher. She's just a little more feminine, a little more youthful looking. Big, bold, sprung one is obviously the one behind her, and I think that heifer certainly has some usefulness. I mean, she's big and bold and powerful in her rib shape. She's certainly big-boned and stout-featured. I need to just make her more agile and more flexible. I'd like to change the way her neck comes out of her shoulder. But in terms of just ruggedness and just sturdiness, I think that one has certainly got her place. And I certainly could see some people really utilizing a female like this. Good pair of cattle, very different in their type and kind. I just went with the one that I thought was more athletic. Good pair of heifers. Give them a good round of applause.
Extremely good quality heifer to start this class off, one that I'd take home with me any day of the week. And there's been several within this purebred show that I've been delighted with. This heifer just does so many things correct in terms of balance and maternal shape. She ties that neck so high out of the top side of her shoulder and carries that point of her center rib deep into her chest floor. One thing you'd like to change about this heifer is maybe just cushion her up ever so slightly in her hock and pastern, but nonetheless a really square-made, balanced, feminine appearing female that I sure would like to put out in comparison in the grand drive later today. Young man's heifer second following her up is a nice long-made heifer that does have that same kind of rib shape and curvature, but we just like to smooth her up and prettier her up in terms of her front 1/3 from her shoulder all the way up to her pole. Heifer in third and fourth, they both come out, kind of have some structure issues in terms of the way they use their hind leg and like to roach up ever so slightly on the go. Obviously like to clean them up just a little bit in terms of their navel, but nice females that are rugged and have some utility to them.
And placings in Class 14 in your full-blood Braunvieh show. First place goes to entry number 29, S.W. Maya, exhibited by Ellen Singenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 28, M.S.R.F.D. Reba 1294K, exhibited by Eric Pettit of Page, Texas. Third place goes entry number 50, LLB Miss Oakley, exhibited by Hannah Shoemaker of Page, Texas. Fourth place goes entry number 30, Win V K924, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Custer, Kentucky. Congratulations. We'll now be ready to select your full-blood champion heifer calf, now in the ring. And placings in Class 18 over in your full-blood Aberdeen show are as followed. First place in Class 18, an automatic senior yearling heifer champion, goes to entry number 32, UF Mustang Sally 20J, exhibited by Erica Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And second place in Class 18 in a reserve senior heifer champion goes to entry number 33, UF Miss Frosty 6E, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your grand champion, a full-blood Aberdeen female, here at the 50th anniversary of the North American.
Tremendous lineup in this division, in a really high quality group of them, that I can appreciate all shapes and sizes of them out here in the ring right now. You've heard me talk them in class and know where my priorities lie. I'll go out and get you a champion reserve in the second division, and we'll keep rolling on with the show.
And your champion heifer calf goes to entry number 29, SW Maya, exhibited by Elin Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And your reserve division champion goes to entry number 27, SW Lola, exhibited by Natalie Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now ready for Class 17 full-blood Braunvieh.
Over here on our Aberdeen side, we just get ready to select our champion full-blood female, and I'm really happy with the 4 we have back out here, and I think we got a couple of reserve divisions that are awfully good. And these heifers don't all match, like we'd have in a perfect world. I think we've got some good parts and pieces on a lot of different things, though. And I felt like that we used the cattle that were probably the most athletic ones, the ones that I thought were heifers that had some feminine look to them from the side, yet still had enough muscle and mass and power to be out here to represent their individual divisions. This first heifer calf is just so intriguing. I think, when you look at this one, and she's different. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She's an outlier out here, and she's just so ultra cool in her head and her neck. She's the one that, when you analyze that front 1/3, she's the one of this foursome that comes out highest out of her neck and still got enough chest. She's still got enough rib for one that's this immature. And I think when you watch her go, she's as athletic and sets down on that rear leg as good as any out here. I think that she's got just a notch of added flexibility off of both ends of her skeleton. And I know she's young, and I know that someday she'll get over that. But boy, that's one that you really got to look at and consider in this division. The young man here then with the cowboy hat gets this heifer stuck, and he does such a nice job of showing this heifer. This heifer is just very complete and very well balanced, and you got to like that about this young heifer. Is she the longest sided one? No. In terms of just body length and hip length, she's a little more moderate in her type and kind relative to the others, and that doesn't bother me too much because the heifer is just very complete in her balance and her build, and I like that one a lot. And she's similar to the heifer in front of her, and the way she comes out of her neck and her shoulder blades are built into her really well. I think that she's just one that from a standstill you like her. Now when we get on the go, she's still flexible enough, and she's still good enough in her foot and bone work to make her certainly in contention. Big bodied one comes in that next hole, and I just thought that one was the power, most big constructed, widest built one in that particular division. I like that heifer from her shoulder back, and just the way she blends into her fore rib, and her length of hip and her pin width sets her apart from some of the others, and I like that about that one quite a lot. That heifer that come out of that last division, just as 2 heifers in there, she was the sleeker of the 2 heifers, just a longer sided one that had just a nickel more look to her from the side, and certainly was the one that was best on the go. It's a tough placing here for me, and I'm going to do something that maybe some of you wouldn't do, but I'm going to pick the outside of the box one I just like so much. Give this group a big round of applause. Good heifer show. Thanks for letting me evaluate them.
And your grand champion full-blood Aberdeen female goes to entry number 7, UF Miss Tiara 44G, exhibited by, entry number 8, EMP. And your grand champion full-blood Aberdeen female here at the North American goes to entry number 7, UF Miss Tiara 44G 01L. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion goes to entry number 16, TCS Jasmine 61F, exhibited by Winston McGregor Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is your full-blood cow-calf pairs over in your Aberdeen show. Again, we are ready for your full-blood cow-calf pairs here in Broadbent Arena.
We have a real outlier in this class. Just within the class here, she has such an advantage in overall structural correctness and overall balance of design. I really appreciate the maternal rib she has in her and her overall levelness in terms of her hooks and pins. It'd be a really nice prospect for this lady as she turns out to pasture to become a cow. As we get into the trio heifers here on the bottom here, that they all really struggle in terms of how they utilize their hind legs. From there, we just kind of box them out in terms of a capacity and mass standpoint, and still balance in terms of them on the standstill. This young lady's heifer has the advantage in overall depth and squareness, and ties the head out of the top side of her shoulder at the highest point. The young man's heifer coming out next, I just appreciate her and having an extra little shot of mass in terms of her flank and forerib, but I just really like to change these last two in terms of their hind legs and the way they move out. Young lady rounding out the class does have a nice long patterned heifer. There just needs to be more of her, and we'd like to put them feet up under her just a little bit more.
Over on our full-blood Aberdeen side, boy, what a nice pair here. Just a 2-year-old female that's doing just an outstanding job. And I think, when you put these two together as a package, I would certainly think that they could hold their own in most rings. I think, just the power this 2-year-old heifer has. Her udder is very, very level, and her teat size is good. Doing a tremendously good job with a nice April heifer calf. I think that's just a whale of a good pair of cattle. I congratulate you and I commend you for bringing them out today. Certainly could withstand a lot of competition. Give them a nice round of applause. Good pair of Aberdeens.
And first place in Class 46 and automatic grand champion cow-calf full-blood Aberdeen goes to entry number 59, HIC Porchy 2J, exhibited by KN Marie Farmer of Gaulton, Missouri. Congratulations. We're all ready to start your moderator female show in your Aberdeen show with Class 1 spring heifer calves. And placings in Class 17 over in your full-blood Braunvieh show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 37, Miss JMS Beth, K312, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place goes to entry number 34, RJE Lily May, 243K, exhibited by Piper Hawkins of Headley, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 33, MSGBR Eaton, exhibited by Jeremiah Gosdale Jr. of Palestine, Texas. And fourth place goes to entry number 36, Win V VP Pop-Tart K424, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Custer, Kentucky. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the class is Class 18.
Got a nice heifer to start off our moderator portion of our Aberdeen show, and a heifer at kind of giving the young man some fits. Acts like maybe she's got a little separation anxiety going on, but I think if you start studying this one, she's big boned and big stout featured. A heifer that's extremely long necked, and we'll get her back out here with some others, and I think maybe she'll relax, and we'll get to talk about her a little further. But a nice heifer to start our show here in the moderator division.
Really massive female to start out this last class of the day. I really appreciate this one's boldness and overall depth of body and overall balance. One thing I'd like to critique on this heifer, I'd like to relax her in that mid-spine just ever so slightly where the little girl just touches her right there. We'd like to sit that down in there just a little bit more, but nonetheless a really balanced, really sound constructed female in terms of her feet and legs. One that I'd like to get back out here in the drive and compared to her peers within the show. Young man's heifer coming out in second has the advantage in the bottom pair here in terms of being just a little more massively designed in that lower and center rib, and really would like to change her ever so slightly in terms of her navel and chest floor and put that up in her just a little bit more. Young man's heifer rounding out the class again, just gets a little straight in terms of her angles from her stifle to her hock, and that hock down to the ground. We'd like to tie her in just a little higher off the top side of her shoulder and set her down in terms of her spine and soften her entire look. But nonetheless, a ruggedly designed female that will have some utility in the pasture.
And first place of Class 18 in your full-blood Braunvieh show goes to entry number 39, Miss BBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingabin of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 40, JBB Dolly 15K, exhibited by Eric Pettit of Page, Texas. And third place goes to entry number 38, JBB Crystal 246K, exhibited by Colt Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
As we pull these last two classes of the day into division here, I'm sure and pleased with the quality in the top end of this here. The young lady with the heifer in the first class here, I really do like this female and talked to her in class for just her overall maternal design and balance, and as well as the young lady in the second class, so just the overall quality in this one and how she just ties so many pieces together. We critiqued her just a little bit in terms of roaching up in her top a little, but nonetheless, there's way too much quality to let this one go. She'll be the champion today, and your reserve will be the one out of the first class.
And your division champion goes to entry number 39, MSBBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingabine of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And your reserve division goes to entry number 37, Miss JMS Beth K312, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now ready to select your full-blood Braunvieh Grand Champion heifer here at the 50th anniversary of the North American. Again, we are ready to select your full-blood Grand Champion heifer.
Over here on our Aberdeen side, a nice pair of heifers, and I think a good pair of cattle that, I think they sort themselves pretty handily for me, though, when you start at the ground. Again, this heifer's a bigger footed, bigger boned one, I think just sits on more groundwork. She's certainly better in her pasture, and when she gets out and goes and she's got more flexibility at the ground, she's a heifer that's just really constructed awfully well. Is she as long-necked and sleek-necked as the one in second? Probably not, but I still think that she's certainly adequate there. I like the length, the neck, and I like this heifer out of her shoulder quite a bit. Now, when you get and study her in her top line and then out to her hip, she's not quite as nicely designed as the one that comes in first. The biggest thing with this heifer is I just need to change her a little bit when she steps off on those rear two and just make her softer in her pastern, give her just a little more flexibility in that direction, and I think we like her even more. Good pair of cattle here in that particular class.
And I would like to take this time to reintroduce your Braunvieh judge for today, Mr. Austin Egoff from Lincoln City, Indiana, where he and his wife Jessica and son David own and operate J&AE livestock raising, Simmental, Angus, and Red Angus cattle, focusing primarily on show heifers. Austin is a graduate of Purdue University with a degree in animal science and was a member of the 2016 Purdue Livestock Judging Team. Austin currently is employed by Transover Genetics, serving as the Indiana Client Service Rep. If you could join me in giving Mr. Austin Egoff one more round of applause for being with us here today. And catching up over on your moderator female show in your Aberdeen side, first place in Class 1 goes to entry number 1, AZP Lola LO2, exhibited by Austin Z. Pito of Cynthiana, Kentucky, and he will also be your automatic junior heifer calf champion. And first place in Class 7 senior heifer calves goes to entry number 4, TCS Lady Die 25E, exhibited by Carson Jace Bervin of Gaulton, Missouri. And second place goes to entry number 6, CRM Gadaline, exhibited by Coley Hill of Citydale, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 11 Summer Yearling Heifers.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody that asked me to be here today, and it's really been an honor and a fun experience for me. Anytime you get a show, exhibit, help a crew here, or even judge like I got to today, it surely is a good time. It doesn't matter if you stood first or 10th in your class. You got to exhibit cattle at the North American Livestock Expo, and that's something. It's a long trip here for a lot of people, and it's a long week to stay here. I got here Tuesday night to exhibit a string, and I went home Wednesday night about 8 o'clock and turned back around and come back the next day to come here and judge the Braunvieh show for you all today. I can honestly admit I've never sat down and watched the Braunvieh show, but I can promise you I will in the future, because there are some very intriguing animals I got to evaluate today, and I could see a lot of purpose for them in many aspects within the industry. Once again, I want to congratulate all of you exhibitors today. I think there's a pair of heifers that really suits me, and I would put them up against anybody else's evaluation. With that being said, let's get a round of applause for these juniors today. They've all done a great job showing and have brought a really high quality set of cattle. I'll go out and pick your grand in reserve, and once again, let's get a round of applause and tell them how good of a job they've done today.
Well, over here on our moderator side in our Aberdeen show, we got 2 heifers that are really dialed in, and they're presented to the T. And both these young girls, young ladies, when they get them stopped and parked, they sure can get the best out of them. I think the difference in the two is when we put them in motion. I think that the heifer that wins the class, the red and white heifer, is just so cool in her lines, and I mean ultra neat in her neck and so extended about her neck, but yet she's still got enough base width and enough power. I think that one stays truer in her top line. When she gets out and goes, she certainly stays better in her loin when she gets on the move. I think that one just paints such an awesome picture. I like the brood cow look about this one. I think she just ties an awfully lot of things together in a really cool package. Young lady gets this one stuck, and I think on a standstill, you really got to like this one. In terms of her balance from her forerib back to her flank, she's really, really good. She's level in her hip, but when she gets out and goes, she just wants to pull herself apart a little bit. She wants to get higher in her top, and she just doesn't stay as relaxed as the one that wins the class. She doesn't go out and reach quite as much authority off those rear 2 and off the front 2 as well as the one that wins the class. But again, really highly presented, really an eye-appealing heifer. Nice pair of cattle. Give them a good round of applause.
And over in your full-blood Braunvieh show, your grand champion Braunvieh here at the North American International Livestock Expo goes to entry number 39, Miss BBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingabine of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion full-blood goes to entry number 37, Miss JMS Beth K312, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors and juniors for participating here at the 50th anniversary of the North American. And first place In Class 11, Summer Yearling Heifers over in your Aberdeen show goes to entry number 8, CLT Miss Red Perfect 01K, exhibited by Patterson Family Farm of Findlay, Ohio. And second place goes to entry number 7, PFF Royal Iris, exhibited by Lillian Wadsworth and Williams Wadsworth. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 12.
Young man's got a nice April yearling heifer that, again, is a big-bodied, robust ribbed one that, certainly got a lot of cow power to her. We'll comment a little bit more about her when she comes in division, but give that young man and his heifer a nice round of applause. Good heifer and a nice young man.
And first placing Class 12 over in your moderator Aberdeen show goes to entry number 9, TNG Tiger Lily, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Horham, Maine. Congratulations. Now be selecting your champion junior heifer.
Get this yearling division of our moderator on our Aberdeen side out here, and our 2 class winners in our second. The heifer that won that first class, just ultra cool. I love this one from the side. I think her build is just so nice. She's extremely flexible, really, really angular when you get behind her in terms of her width and just the way her pin's set. I love her hip design. I think that one's going to be awfully, awfully good down the road. A little more conventional style heifer behind her that's got just a ton of dimension to her rib shape. I like that about her. Relative to the heifer and on either side of her, she's probably not quite doesn't quite have the bells and whistles of those two, but from her shoulder back, you got to like the power and just the build in that one. Our red heifer will be our division champion. We're going to the black heifer that was second in that class. I think that one just makes a nice pair. Tremendously long-sided and long-bodied. We certainly like that about that heifer. Congratulations, and she'll be our reserve division. Really an outstanding division here with just small numbers. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
And your champion junior heifer over in your moderator show goes to entry number 8, CLT Miss Red Perf 01K, exhibited by Patterson Family Farm of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve division goes to entry number 7, PFF Royal Iris, exhibited by Lily Ann Wadsworth and William Wadsworth. Congratulations. We'll now be ready to select your grand champion moderator female here at the North American. And over in your open Braunvieh show, we are ready for Class 1 to be making their way into the ring. Again, we are ready for a Class 1 open Braunvieh show females to be making their way into the ring. Again, over in your Aberdeen show, we are ready to select your grand champion moderator female.
Get them back out here, our division champions in our moderator portion of the show, and not a lot of numbers in this event, but again, we got some real quality cattle, and there's nothing like showing on the green shavings at the North American, and especially on the 50th anniversary, it's quite an event, and it's been a pleasure for me as both an exhibitor and an evaluator to be a part of. And I appreciate the folks here at the North American. I appreciate the folks that are part of the Aberdeen Association to let me give my opinion of the cattle today. And we'll talk about these a little bit, because the young man that he brought the single division champion out and single class winner. She's a different kind out here, a little bigger outline in this heifer, a heifer that's got some really good parts and pieces. She's fighting a halter quite a lot today, and I think her better days are obviously ahead of her when she gets out in the ring and starts to relax. I think she'll come together, and I think she'll look a little more appropriate on her back leg than she does today, because of the fact that she is fighting the halter so much. But a big topped heifer that's got some shape to her, still really uniquely designed out through her neck and her head, a long-sided, long-fronted heifer that's sure got some usefulness to her. More compact heifer, if you will, as the one that won that center or middle division. A heifer that's real functional in her build. That one, in terms of rib shape's got a tremendously big barrel, and she's a big, robust ribbed one. Nice in her hip. She's nice enough when she gets out and goes. We change her just ever so slightly in her front 1/3, maybe clean her chest up a nickel and maybe give her just a little more angulation to her shoulder. But, I think in terms of just brood cow look, that one sure got it. The heifer that really puts a lot together is the red heifer, and obviously her color is an outlier, but, boy, her quality is awfully good. She is extremely nice in her hip, and I like that kind of hip and those cattle are hard to design when they're just that dead level hipped and so good up through her spine. I think when you just get off to the side and analyze this heifer, she's appropriate in her shoulder, she's appropriate down how she's got some slope, and you follow that heifer from her chest floor back to her flank, and she's just really, really balanced well. Put her in motion. She's obviously the most flexible one that we have in that trio of the champion divisions. Without any further ado, I'll go pick you a champion. Give them a nice round of applause.
We do need that Class 1 of Beef Builder percentage heifers over in your Braunvieh show to be making their way into the ring. And your grand champion moderator female goes to entry at number 8, CLT Miss Red Perf 01K, exhibited by Patterson Family Farm of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations.
For that heifer that was reserved in that division, I think that one just brings so much quality also to a really good heifer show. Congratulations, young lady. You're going to have reserve champion.
And your reserve champion moderator female goes to entry number 7, PFF Royal Iris, exhibited by Lillian Wadsworth and William Wadsworth. Congratulations. We're now ready for class number 47, moderator cow-calf pairs here in your Aberdeen show. Again, we are ready for class 47, moderator cow-calf pairs.
What a nice pair here in our moderators division. A 9-year-old female, and I think that speaks volumes on this cow. Her bone work and her foot is really good. Udder's exceptionally good for a 9-year-old, and I think that cow is just an awfully good female that certainly it stands lots of competition because she is so good in her makeup. The young man's heifer calf, I commented a while ago that she had a little bit of separation anxiety, and you kind of tell because she's wanting to be with her mother. But a largely constructed heifer that was a division champion in our heifer show, and certainly a division and certainly a division champion again out here that is well deserved. Give them a nice congratulations on a good pair of cattle.
And first place in class 47 and automatic grand champion cow-calf moderator pair goes to entry number 31, AZP Showgirl 002B, exhibited by Austin Z. Pito of Cynthiana, Kentucky. Congratulations. And we're now ready for class number 23, spring bull calves over in your full-blood Aberdeen Bull Show. Again, we are ready for that class 23 spring bull calves. And now entering the ring is Class 1 Open in your Braunvieh show, your beef builder and percentage heifers. These heifers' date of birth range from March 12th through March 3rd of 2023. And evaluating your Open Braunvieh show is Mr. Dustin Ogburn. Again, now in the ring is Class 1 Beef Builder Percentage Heifers. And over in your Aberdeen show, we are ready for Class 23 Spring Bull Calves over in your Full Blood Aberdeen Bull Show.
Really good set of heifers here to start our show off. And, for me, young lady here with the black heifer, just one that in terms of look and femininity, I really like this female. Gets out and travels good and good set of feet and legs on her. In terms of her structure, when you set this one into motion, I think she holds herself together better in that hip and top and just gets out a little bit freer when you set her on the motion on that front third of her spine. You get behind that one, she's still got some power and shape to her, a lot of quality to her. Not to take anything away from the heifer here in second, long-spined female here, and I really like and appreciate that about her. So just for me, I like to change her on that front end of her spine. She wants to toe out off those front two. Like to change that, make her relax a little bit more out of that pasture, and when you set her into motion, change her a little bit up in her hip and her top.
And first place in Class 1 of your Beef Builder Percentage Heifer Show goes to entry number 2, Miss JMS Doherty, L374, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place in that class goes to entry number 1, Miss JMS Parday, L395, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 2 Beef Beater Percentage Heifers. These heifers' date of birth range from February 19th through 17th of 2023.
Nice bull calf to start off over here on our Aberdeen side, and one that gives you a nice look again from the side. I think that one, has got enough parts and pieces. Really good as he gets out and travels, and we'll comment on him a little further when he gets back out here with some other cattle. But certainly a nice one to get started with, and certainly a high quality one to be a class winner here at the North American.
And first place in Class 23 Spring Bull Calves goes to entry number 40, UF Ultra Monster 15L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 24 Junior Bull Calves over in your Full Blood Aberdeen show. This foal's date of birth is March 3rd of 2023.
Another nice single entry, a March calf that has really, again, got some good parts and pieces. A big bone, stout featured one that I think when she gets him parked for that short amount of time that he does want to stand still, you sort of like the side profile from him. I think when you get behind him and you look at him, he's got some shape to his top. We'll comment on him a little further in division, but a good single entry. Give her a nice round of applause.
And first place in Class 24 of your full-blood Aberdeen Bull Show goes entry number 41, UF Hurricane 02L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your junior bull calf champion.
Again, a good class here, and again, with both of these heifers, there's some structural problems that concern me here, but I think the one that has the least amount of those is the black heifer that the young ladies here in front of me with. This is one that, compared to the heifer behind her, gets out a little bit easier off the front end of that spine, probably lays at a little bit nicer angle out of that shoulder for me. Is she as massive and big-bodied and stout-muscled as the heifer in second? She's not. But just in terms of how she does get out and travel and has a little bit more reach and grab off that front end of her spine when she sets about. Now, that being said, do I still want to change her in her pasture and hock? For me, I do. But again, just one that in terms of her balance and design compared to the heifer in second has the advantage out here. Heifer in second, again, you want to talk about some rib and some hip and muscle, this is your heifer here. Just for me, from a structure standpoint, I want to change her again. One that she gets straighter off her pastern. When you set her into motion, she kind of struggles and gets straighter off that front end of that spine. Just want to change that one up too when you get her into motion and how she lays into that loin and into her hip and gets a little inverted up in that tail head. Just like to change her from a quality and structure standpoint for me.
Nice pair of bull calves, and we'll do a little comparison and contrasting since they were single entries. Obviously the more moderate one is the one that comes out of the first class. He's a calf that he's got a lot of center dimension to him. He's big ribbed and robust ribbed. He's a calf that's level about his hip. I think relative to the one behind him, he's not quite as neat in his front. He is, but certainly you got to like his depth of body. I like the youthful look of the one behind. He's a stouter featured one, a bigger bone one that's just got more power. I think if you analyze this calf as he gets out and goes, I think he probably tracks a little truer. I'd set his tail head down in him a little bit more to make him more eye appealing. But of the two, I find him to be more suitable for me. The one that wins the second class will be your division champion. We'll use the smaller calf there for reserve. Good pair of bulls. Congratulations. Thank you. You bet.
And your champion bull calf goes to entry number 41, UF Hurricane 02L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve champion junior bull goes to entry number 40, Ultra Monster 15L, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 29 Senior Bull Calves over in your Aberdeen show. Again, now entering the ring is Class 29.
Again, another single entry right here, and a young man has a heifer here that, again, in terms of structure, just one that I want to change. But, in talking of positives, one that's got some length of spine. I like how she lays into her hip and got a good long hip into that one. Where I want to change hers, again, that angle, how she ties into her shoulder out of her neck. She wants to get straighter there, and when you're standing in front of her, one that probably offers a little bit more shoulder for me. Again, you set her into motion. motion. She's just tied off both ends of her spine. I'd like to get her out with a little bit more athleticism and make her get out and travel better. But again, a heifer that you have to appreciate the length of spine. We'll see how she shakes out here later on in the division. But young man did a nice job presenting this heifer.
And placings in Class 2 over in your Braunvieh show are as follows. First place goes to entry number 3, Miss MF Jade, exhibited by Aubrey Pettit of Page, Texas. Second place in Class 2 goes to entry number 4, Alexander Montoya Amber, exhibited by Gage McWinter of Wolf City, Texas. And first place in Class 3 goes to entry number 5, JBB Bonnie, exhibited by Eric Pettit of Page, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be your champion junior heifer calf. Again, entering the ring now will be your Division I champion heifer calf.
We get into our first division here on these beef builder heifers, and there's some quality out here. That first class here, young lady, this is one that's got a lot of look and presence about her, but still feminine sound, holds together in terms of her structure, and one that you get behind. You like the hip and shape that she has, still feminine in her muscle pattern, but got some expression there and some shape over her top. And still soft, just a nice female out of that first class. Following in the next pair of heifers out of that second class, some structural differences there. Young lady here that won that particular class just had the advantage in that class there of being a little bit better on the move off the front part of that skeleton and off those front two legs when she got about the ring. One that does have some length of spine and held herself together a little bit nicer in that particular class. Again, for me, a little bit straighter pastern. Like to change her there, probably give a little bit more center and upper rib when you get behind that one, but a nice pattern female, especially on the standstill young ladies brought out here today. And then the last class here, again, another long skeleton type of heifer. There's some good in terms of that and how she lays in that hip, but just again for me, structure issues become apparent off both ends of her spine and skeleton. Want to change her at the angle of her shoulder and move her on. With that being said, the two that I'm going to use in this particular division be the two out of that first class. They just have the advantage in terms of overall quality and structural integrity.
Over here on our Aberdeen side, a really good class of bull calves, and quite a bit of differences in the first pair of bulls relative to the third one. And I think, though, the bull that wins the class does so pretty handily. I think he ties together what the other two have. I think in terms of just overall balance and build, this one comes to the top pretty handily. He's the one that when he gets out in motion, he's the most athletic off of both ends. He's a calf that's good-footed, and I like him in his chest. I like him back through his flank, and I think he just ties those things in a really cool-looking package, the best of the three bulls. The bull that's given the young lady such a fit, I think when he gets stopped and on the standstill, he's the one that most typically follows that one that wins the class. He's truer in his build in terms of just ruggedness and stoutness of his features, and so I think he finds his way to the second hole. This third bull's intriguing, though, folks. I got to tell you, he's a little less conditioned than those first two. He is a long-sided calf that's real complete. He needs to be just a nickel deeper in his body work to be up in with those first two. I just give him just a little more center dimension and a little more rib shape, but I think that's an awfully good bull calf, and I think his better days are probably down the road when he gets a little more maturity and just a little more stoutness of his features. Good trio of bulls. Give him a good round of applause.
And first place in Class 29 Senior Bull Calves and Automatic Senior Bull Calf Champion goes entry number 46, UF Fully Loaded 57K, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Second place goes entry number 45, UF Black Star 62K, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Third place goes to entry number 47, TCS Jack of Spades 25K, exhibited by Tummins Cattle Company of Gallatin, Missouri. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 36 Junior Yearling Bulls.
Well, this young lady brought a nice yearling bull out for us today. I think, we'll just briefly talk about him, but we'll visit more in depth about him and when he comes back out. But, when we talk about cattle that just paint a really nice picture and a silhouette, I think that one does so very handily. I think, when you look at him from his nose to his tail, just high quality individual. Again, we'll visit about him a little more here when he comes back out. Super nice single entry.
Single entry out here, young man brings for us here. And again, in terms of length of body, just a long spine type of female here. When you set this one in motion, she does get out and hit track. Do I want to change her off those rear two when I get behind her? She wants to hawk in a tick for me. And I think even though that she does get out and hits her track, I'd like to see her do it a little bit more graceful. My biggest problem with this one, probably for me, is I want to lift her up in that pin set a little bit, level her out there. She gets a little bit shorter hipped, and I like to fix her there. Just one that in terms of her overall balance and quality, I like to probably balance her up better for me and just give her a little bit more look here. But a female, again, you like the length of spine in, just one that in terms of overall structural integrity and quality, I'd like to change for me.
Another really good single entry, another just powerfully designed bull that just brings an awful lot of good things to the table. He gets out and he's athletic and he's good in his build, good in his forerib, and he comes back and transitions out of that rib into a really nice center part of his body. And you get behind him and he's got a nickel extra mass and just power. Really a good calf, and we'll comment about him also a little further, but a super nice single entry. Give her a nice round of applause.
Again, out here in our beef build or heifer drive, I know maybe not the most in terms of numbers, but there's sure some quality out here. And, for me, pretty evident in the type and kind that I like and believe in, and pretty easy out here for me to select you a champion in terms of overall quality and structural integrity and having some body, but still being feminine and doing all the little things right, having some balance. With that being said, I'm going to go out here and get you a champion, a reserve champion, heifer out here. But again, nice set of beef builder heifers out here. Give them a round of applause. I'm going to get you a champion reserve.
Got a nice single entry over here. A young lady brings out a bull that's big-footed and just big-featured, a calf that's certainly got a nice look to him. We'll visit about him a little further when he comes back out in division, but certainly a nice class winner here for this young lady. Give her a nice round of applause.
And your grand champion beef builder female goes to entry number 2, Miss JMS D'Or, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. And your reserve champion beef builder female goes to entry number 1, Miss JMS Parde, L395, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And catching up over in your Aberdeen show, your first place in Class 36 in automatic junior yearling bull goes entry number 50, UF Gooseman 04K, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And first place in Class 39 goes entry number 53, UF Hat Trick 21J, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And first place in Class 41 goes to entry number 54, SME Agent Bennett, exhibited by Ripley Hill of Sadell, Kentucky. Congratulations.
Nice pair of bulls out here for our division, and the one that won that first class, that single entry, he's just a real powerfully designed one. I think you get off and study this one, and just you kind of get the little wow factor because he's got just the extra look, he's got the extra muscle, he's got the extra mass, and with that stays really good in his underline and from his chest floor back, and just ties so many good things in to a package. Nice big footed bull for the young lady, and he's a little heavier fronted than the one right in front of him. He doesn't have quite the overall muscle and shape of the one directly in front of him. We're going to use the young ladies bull out of that first class for our division. Follow him up with a nice bull there, young ladies for reserve. Congratulations.
And your champion senior bull goes to entry number 53, UF Hat Trick 21J, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Your reserve champion senior bull goes to entry number 54, SME Agent Bennett, exhibited by Ripley Hill of Sadell, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your grand champion full-blood Aberdeen bull here at the North American. And now over in your Braunvieh show, we are working on class number 13. Again, over in your Braunvieh show, we are working on class 13 beef builder bulls. And ladies and gentlemen, over in your Aberdeen sign, let's put your hands together for one more time for your judge today, Mr. Clint Hall. And we are selecting your grand champion, a full-blood Aberdeen bull here at the 50th anniversary of the North American.
Again, this is not just a class, but going to be your division out here. And both these bulls got some quality to them. And again, looking at both of them, they're night and day different. There's things I like about both of them, and there's things that change about both of them. With that being said, bull here, young lady has, this is just an eye-appealing, good-looking kind. Again, like the length of skeleton and spine, this one possesses probably in terms of balance. Has the advantage there over the young lady here behind, but just a lot of quality in that calf there. Gets out with some flex and athleticism. With that being said, I think that one in terms of muscle has got plenty enough. Could you power him up for me a hair? Probably could, but again, I think he's plenty adequate in terms of that. A lot of future to that one. Just a good-looking bull that young lady has here. Bull here, big, stout, powerfully constructed type. Got some foot and bone to this one. Big top you get behind this one. For me, could you balance this one up a little bit better for me? You could. Could you take some sheath away? Probably concerns me a little bit there in terms of longevity out as this bull matures and breeding cows out in the pasture, injure himself for that with that extra sheath, so probably concerns me there. And when you get behind that one, again, you like that muscle and shape he has. Does he bow out a little bit off those rear two when he gets on the move? He does. So again, day and night difference. You could go either way depending on your preferences. For me today, young lady here will be your division champion, and you'll be our reserve.
Well, super good bull show here in our full blood division of our Aberdeens, and really impressed. Honestly, I really am. I think we've got 4 division champions that are real representative of just high quality cattle, regardless of the breed. Visit a little bit about them so we can kind of see what I see in them, or hopefully follow along. The bull calf that won that first division, just really cool in his look and his design. I think that when he gets out here and finally will ever get to relax, I think he'll stay really true in his top. He wants to get up in his top right now, and as we talked about earlier, you set him down in his tailhead just a slight bit, but I like his bone work and his stoutness of features. I still think that just the way he's built is intriguing, because he's cool in his neck and his angles are so good and his shoulder is really good. I think that one's got a real world of future to him. The bull that won that second division is maybe doesn't have all the fluff and stuff that some of the others have, but that one's constructed as good as any. I think that one is, from a standstill standpoint, from his chest floor back to his flank, is really good. He's a big testicled bull that sets down on a good set of feet and legs, and I appreciate that about him. Really nice in his hip design, and I think that's what really kind of set him off in that particular division. If you recall, there were 3 bulls in that particular division, and he was the one that just kind of surfaced to the top of that group of class quite handily because of his just complete look, and I think that bull is going to be one that can certainly sire some cattle down the road that have a nice look, that have some performance and some grow to them, one that will have some just massive tops and shape. Just a very complete one. This one that stands third is one that does have some bells and whistles, and I think that one, he came to the show to be a show bull, and I think that one just ties so many good things in. When you look at this one from the chest back, he stays just so neat in his underline, and he is the one that's the biggest footed and the biggest bone one. He is the one that I feel is probably the most athletic when he gets out and goes. When you stand away from him and you look how he comes out of the top side of his shoulder, his transition from his shoulder into his forerib is just tremendously good. What sets him apart from a couple of the other bulls is the way his tailhead sits down in his pen bones. And when you get behind him, his pen bones are elevated just enough. He's super wide penned. He's the widest base one that just has so much power and just so much good. And I like that one a whole lot. And I'm not, I just have to tell it like it is. This big bull comes a little slicker. And I think, he's much like his counterpart in front of him, just in terms of mass and power and build. Again, one that's really long-sided, really long-hipped. Compared to the bull right in front of him, he's just not quite as neat in his tailhead and the way his pin set is. But, other than that, that's getting super picky on a big-footed, really rugged, constructed one that gets out and goes. Really nice group of reserves over here. Give them a good round of applause. Great bull show. I'll go pick you my 2, show you my 2. Been a pleasure sorting these, honestly, folks. Give the hats off to the breeders and exhibitors of these cattle. Super good group.
And your grand champion, full-blood bull, goes to entry number 50, UF Gooseman 04K, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve champion, full-blood bull, goes to entry number 53, UF Hat Trick 21J, exhibited by University of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations.
Boy, over here in this particular division in our beef builder bulls, both these two have a lot of quality they bring to the table and a lot of similarities when you stand off of them. But with that being said, there's also some differences between the two when you really get to picking and studying. Young man here with this bull, this is just a long spine, good looking type of bull. How he attaches into his neck and lays into that top and the look that bull possesses. But with that extra look and style, that's a bull that still is masculine. He looks like a bull. He's got some muscle. He's got some power and shape to him. One that when you set him into motion, for as long-bodied as that bull is, he gets out and he travels and he flexes, and I really like that about him. I like long-spine cattle, and that's one that when you set him to motion, he holds together really good. Get behind him, he's got some shape down that top and carries that honest and true into his hip. And when you get to talking about testicles on both these bulls, probably prefer how his lay in there a little bit better than the bull right behind. But again, really high quality bull here. Young man has young lady here with the bull right behind. This is one in terms of meat and muscle. He's the stoutest of the two, not to say that the other is frail, but when you get behind this one, I mean, he's just got the most natural shape and dimension and width right behind that shoulder and carries that down into his top and his hip and his lower 1/3, a little bit stouter into that forearm. Just a lot of power in that calf. Still has a nice look, probably not as attractive as the bull right in front of him, but again, a bull that's got some look to him. He's got a lot of good things about him. Where I'd change him personally, probably like to level him out coming into that hip. Right there for me, and when you set this one into motion, you know, he gets a little bit, he's a little more compact in terms of length of spine, so when you set this one into motion, he doesn't quite get out with that extra flex and athleticism compared to the bull young man shown. But again, you know, big-footed, got a lot of power, still got some look to that bull, probably doesn't balance as well. That being said, young man, you'll be our division champion, and lady, you'll be our reserve. But two good bulls out here in our show today.
Good single entry over here in our moderator portion of our Aberdeen show, and an April calf that, again, is one that just really paints a nice silhouette from the side profile. I think really good in his lines. He's good through his top, and he just stays dead level in his hip. I think that one will stand some competition, and we'll visit on him further when we get him back out here for division. Congratulations on a good one to start our show.
And first place in Class 23 over in your moderator bull show goes to entry number 17, ROC Tiger King, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harum, Maine. Congratulations. And over in your Braunvieh Beef Builder show, your first place in Class 16 goes to entry number 30, and automatic division champion goes to entry number 30, JAMS Platinum Pimp ET, exhibited by Antonio Munzo of Headley, Texas. And first place in Class 17 in automatic reserve division goes to entry number 32, JAMS On Time ET, exhibited by Antonio Munzo of Headley, Texas. Again, congratulations, and we're now ready to select your grand champion, Braunvieh Beef Builder Bull here at the North American.
Got another nice single entry over here in our Aberdeen side, a March calf that I think just again brings a lot of good things to the table. A calf that's real good in his side profile, a calf that's nice in his hip. He's big bone and stout featured. I think we'll just comment on him a little further when we get him out here in division, but certainly one that can stand his own in this division. Congratulations on a good bull.
Again, you know, wrapping up our Beef Builder show here at the North American, and man, just some quality out here. Again, just 4 bulls out here in this drive, but some quality that all 4 of them possess. And again, there's some differences. They come in some different packages out here. You know, young ladies, younger bull here. This is a good-looking calf. Like the length of spine, like how he lays into his hip, and you set that one into motion. Could you give him a little bit more stoutness and red meat? For me in him, probably could. But not saying that he's just the most frail calf I've ever seen by any means, but you know, you probably could power that one up, maybe fill him in a little bit behind that shoulder, coming into his top. But just a nice type of calf. It's got some length and some look, and a lot of future about him. And then we get you know, to our big bull here, and just one again, I said in division, he's got some look and some style to him, but with that kind of look and style, he still looks like a bull. He's still masculine. He's got some muscle and shape and structural integrity. Good set of testicles on that bull, and correct there. And when you get behind him, you know, he's got some center rib and just has a lot of quality. Just a real complete, balanced type of individual. That being said, I'll get you a champion reserve, but a good set of bulls out here in our drive. Give these exhibitors a round of applause. We'll get you a grand champion in a reserve.
And your grand champion, Braunvieh Beef Builder Bull, goes to entry at number 30, JAMS Platinum Pimp ET, exhibited by Antonio Munzo of Headley, Texas. Congratulations. And your reserve.
This is a nice pair of bulls in this first division, marching in April, and I think there's quite a bit of difference in this pair of bulls. And the calf that wins the first class he's a more frail-boned one of the two, but not to say that he is frail. Just say that he's not quite as big boned as the one behind him. He's a calf that when you get off to the side from his forerib back, you like his depth of body, you like his shape to his rib cage. I think he transitions into his shoulder nicely. He's a calf that comes out of the top side of his shoulder real well. I think, when you get to and study him at the ground and they get in motion, he's not quite as free on the move as the one behind him. The one that's more powerfully constructed is the bull behind him. He's a bull that's just bigger bone and bigger footed. He's stouter featured. Maybe he doesn't have just quite the length of neck as the first one, but I certainly think he's adequate in that. I think when you look at him in their shoulder blade, I think they're very similar, and I think they both come out of their neck and shoulder in an appropriate fashion. I'm going to use the bull in the back there with this. Think he's got more power, more stoutness to him. He'll be our champion in this division.
And your champion junior bull calf goes to entry at number 18, AWC Bit of Honey 06L, exhibited by A&W Cattle of Haviland, Ohio. And your reserve champion junior bull goes to entry number 17, ROC Tiger King, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harum, Maine. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 33 Spring Yearling Bulls. And your reserve grand champion Beef Builder Bull goes to entry at number 32. JAMS On Time ET, exhibited by Antonio Munzo of Headley, Texas. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 22. And Class 22 of your full-blood Braunvieh show is now in the ring.
Very good single entry over here on our moderator side in the Aberdeen show, and a bull that I think just is a very basically good built one. We talked about their feet and legs quite a lot today, and this one has a real nice foot size. He's as good as footed and legged as most that we've seen out here. He gets out and really travels. I like his flexibility off his skeleton on both ends. And then you get from the side profile, you really like his depth of rib, and he transitions back really deep in his flank. Got a super nice hip with a lot of shape. We'll comment about him a little further along and later in the show, but super nice single entry.
And first place in Class 33 and automatic champion yearling bull goes to entry number 23, GMC Boss Haas KO75E, exhibited by Grassmaster Cattle of Cumberland, South Dakota. Also exhibited by Doug Simpson of Kitscott, Alberta, Canada. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now ready to select your grand champion moderator bull here at the North American.
over here on our Aberdeen side, our numbers in our moderator bull division were not very high, but the quality's real good. I think we got 3 bulls out here that are certainly strong representatives of their breed and what they can do. I think and comparison to the calf that won that first division, I thought those 2 bulls were very good. They're just a nickel different. I thought the one that we used to win that division just had a little more power and just a little more robust in his build. I think, that one's got just a world of future to him. A good calf that was reserved in that division. The bull that come out of that yearling division is just one that puts so many things together in terms of length of body, length of side, still very deep bodied. And as we talked about earlier, he's really good footed and he's good in his bone work, extremely flexible. Congratulations, young man. He'll be our champion here at the 50th North American.
And your grand champion, Aberdeen Moderator Bull, goes to entry number 23, GMC Boss Hoss KO75E, exhibited by Grassmaster Cattle of Cumberland, South Dakota, and Doug Simpson of Kitscoty, Alberta, Canada. Congratulations.
Well, over here on our Braunvieh side, really good class here. And, young lady here that wins this class, this one does it pretty easily for me, just in terms of her structural integrity and how this one gets out and moves, and feet and leg quality, and the look this one possesses. And with that being said, you get behind this one and really like that shape to her upper and center rib, just an easy feeding, easy fleshing type of female that still has some look. Just a lot of quality, like the length of spine this one has and how she lays into that hip. Just a lot of quality. She wins this class pretty easily for me. Then you come down to 2 heifers that there's a lot of differences between these 2. Young lady that finds herself here in second, she does so in terms of structural integrity. That's one that compared to the heifer that rounds out the class, this one she gets out and travels better, one that holds herself together better on the move. I like this one better there in her hock, and one that's got the advantage in terms of skeletal length and extension and balance there. When you get behind this one and analyze her top and how she carries her width into her pins, is she powerfully constructed? The heifer in third, she's not. But in terms of her soundness and when you put her into motion, she has that advantage. Young man doing a nice job getting this one presented here, like the muscle and shape in this heifer. She just concerns me more from a structural standpoint. I like to change her there in that hock, and in terms of her foot quality when you get to studying and analyzing there. And just when you set this one on the move, she just doesn't get out with that extra flex and athleticism. But young man doing a nice job bringing this heifer out here today. A lot of future for him out here getting that one presented and shown, but again, just want to change that one in terms of her structural integrity in that rear leg.
And your reserve champion, Aberdeen Moderator Bull, goes to entry number 18. AWC Bit of Honey 06L, exhibited by ANW Cattle of Haviland, Ohio. Congratulations. We'll now be working on your group classes over in your Aberdeen Open Show. And over in your full-blood Braunvieh show, placings in Class 22 are as followed. First place goes to entry number 40, Miss JMS Celine L414, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place goes to entry number 41, JBB Lenny Joe 360L, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 42, SW Miss Rosie, exhibited by Everett Turkamp of Independence, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 23 full-blood Braunvieh females.
Well, again, not to sound redundant, but I got to say again, thank you to the North American. It's been a fun 3 days here evaluating cattle here on the green shavings, and such an honor and privilege to be here. And my wife and I, we run multiple breeds of cattle, and so I guess that kind of makes it a little easier for me to kind of set my eye when I'm looking at a different breed than what I have. Because I am so accustomed to looking at different breeds and feeding different breeds and managing different breeds on a daily basis. So, so that makes it, I'm not going to say easy, but it sure helps a lot. And when you don't really know when you walk in here in the morning what you're going to find. You just hope. You just really hope that there's one that comes out that you can get gravitated to. And quite honestly, folks, there's been more than one. There's been a lot of cattle. And I think our lineup out here, even with our two pairs that were just single entries, I just think your quality has been tremendous from end to end. I thought we had some quality just all the way through the show. But when we get our champions out here to pick a supreme champion, I think it becomes very evident that you got some high quality cattle. You got some breeders that are on the right track, that are doing some daggone good things, and compliment them and compliment these exhibitors, if you would, with a big round of applause, and show them our appreciation for bringing out an extremely good group of cattle. To me, it's an interesting thing out here. We got super good heifer calf all the way down to our champion moderator bull, and I'm not going to visit on each one of them again, because I think I do that plenty. I'm a guy that's practical. I use practical terms, and I use things that make sense, that make us money. And we've been doing this. I've been exhibiting at this very place for over 40 years. So, we show cattle, but we raise them too, that have to go out and perform. So I think you got cattle here that can show, they can go out and perform, and they can do what they're supposed to do and do what God put them on the earth to do. To me, it's easy. I got to go show you which one I like the best, but tremendously good group. Give them a big round of applause one more time, and I'll be off the microphone. Thanks again so much to Aberdeen Breeders and to North American.
Really good set of heifers in this particular class, and the heifer that wins for me, just the most complete and balanced ultra feminine in this class. I really like her in terms of her soundness and how this one gets out and travels, and not just that she can get out and hit track, but how she holds herself together when you set this one into motion. Just a really feminine female that's still broody and got some rib and shape to her, like the feet and legs, all that one. And just in terms of longevity, I think she has the advantage for me. Not to take anything away from the young man here in second. Here's one, if you want them a little shorter bodied and deeper bodied. This is one you get to analyze, and she's got some rib, and she's soft in terms of her rib shape, and she's got some bone. And when you get behind her, she is wider in her hip and her pin set. But for me, I get concerned in terms of her being a little shorter cannon. She just reads to be a little quicker in terms of future longevity and being able to keep having gas in the tank to get on down the road. And for me, that's where I want to change this one. I'd like to give her a little bit more length of cam. Just make this one have a little bit more future for her to me. Change that when you get behind her out of that hawk. But again, good class, just night and day difference between the first and second.
Over in your Aberdeen show, we are going to do your group classes before pictures. Again, we are doing group classes before pictures, so we need to have those best six head produce of dam and get a sire in the ring now. And placings in Class 23 over in your full-blood Braunvieh show. First place goes entry number 43, Miss JMS London L399, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Second place in Class 23 goes entry number 44, JBB Laura 397L, exhibited by Cody Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 24 of your full-blood Braunvieh show. And I want to congratulate all Aberdeen exhibitors and breeders for a successful show here at the 50th North American International Livestock Exposition. Safe travels home, and we hope to see you next year. Congratulations.
Another good class over here in our Braunvieh show, and again, a lot of differences, probably the most differences in type and kind out here in terms of structure and design and build and look in this particular class. And with that being said, the heifer that wins for me, just the most complete, the most balanced out here. Does she do everything right for me? No, but I think she's got the most good to her. She's got the least amount of problems and holes for me when you get to analyzing and talking about structure and how they're designed and balanced. And that's where she has the advantage. How this one, on the standstill when the young lady's got her set up, one that has a nice look from the side. You get behind her, she's got some upper and center rib. She's got some shape, and she's got some width of pin. Got some foot underneath her and a good foot underneath her. When you set her into motion, she gets out and she travels pretty good. Do I want to change her when you set her into motion a little bit off that front end of her spine? You can change that angle, that shoulder for me, just a hair. But I think that's a female that's still got a lot of quality, and she wins pretty handily in this particular class. Now, from second all the way down to the end of the class, there's a lot of differences here, and there's give and take. Here's a heifer that follows behind the class winner in terms of overall rib shape and structural integrity. She probably most fits the heifer that wins the class, and being able to get out and travel and having some center rib and some depth and how she balances in her depth compared to the other two. Just an easier flesh and softer design type of heifer than the two below her, where I want to change her from a balance standpoint, how that one lays into her hip. She wants to droop in those pins. You get behind her, she does hawk in. I'd change that, but in terms of being able to get out and move and still having enough to her, that heifer's got the advantage over the two below her. Heifer that follows out next. If you're just one of these people that likes to stand off from the side and look, from a side profile, not get behind them, you probably like this heifer. She's really nicely balanced from a side profile. Attaches. She's one that's got more extension than the heifer that was above her. She's one that's got some look there compared to the heifer right above her. But there's just not enough heifer there for me. I want to change that one in terms of her, open her up in her upper and her center rib and that depth of body. She just gets a little bit harder doing and lower performing for me. Want to give that one a little bit more width in her pins. Like I said, she just gets a little bit lower performing for me and harder doing in this particular class. Then we round off the class here with one, if you want to talk that she can get out and move and travel, I'm not going to argue that. But again, not enough performance and heifer there and muscle to really inhibit that one from not being able to move. So that's where I want to change her, just power that one up, give her some more look, give her some more performance.
And first place in Class 24 over in your full-blood Braunvieh show goes to entry number 47, Miss JMS Paris, L365, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. Second place in that class goes to entry number 48, JBB Lovely Grace, L501C, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 46, JBB Liberty 392L, exhibited by Grayson Sims of Headley, Texas. Fourth place goes to entry number 45, JNBJBB. Image shows Ida, exhibited by Coy Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 25 of your Braunvieh Full Blood Show.
Another interesting class out here, and a young man that wins this class, again, just in terms of how this heifer holds together and balance and look, and still, gets out and travels good out here in this particular class, and it's got some shape to her and feminine. Again, just the most high quality heifer in this particular class. Wins it pretty handily for me, again, just one that, has the advantage in terms of structural integrity and how she holds herself together on the move, on the standstill, just the highest quality heifer in this particular class. Then it gets a little tighter here for second, between second and third. Young man here that comes in second. Here's a longer bodied type of female, one that in terms of her joints and her hocks there, you get to study, and I like her better there than the heifer in third. One that, in terms of how she holds together structurally on her feet and legs, and when she gets out and move, I think she's got a lot more good to her. Just a sounder made heifer. Again, do I want to change that one, give her some more shape and body to her, and can you change her in that top? She wants to roach up. Yeah, you sure can. But again, in terms of longevity and foot quality, I think she has the advantage compared to the heifer that rounds the class out. Now, if you want one that's got a little bit more stoutness and bone, here's your female right here. My problem with her, she gets coarser, jointed, gets probably a little bit more masculine looking compared to the other heifers in this class, and one that's just compact and designed and wants to roach up in that top, but for being so compact and short-bodied, she just doesn't get out and move very good.
And first place in Class 25 goes to entry number 50, JBB Macy, exhibited by Eric Pettit of Page, Texas. And second place in that class goes to entry number 51, JBB Lola, 303L, exhibited by Colt Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Third place in that class goes to entry number 49, JBB Lyric, 337L, exhibited by Shelby Cena of Headley, Texas. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your champion junior heifer calf.
On our Braunvieh side here, boy, what a division here out here with these heifer calves that these young people have brought out here today. And again, a lot of quality in here, and even in those respective classes, there's some quality. And a few classes we got into some pretty big structure issues and problems, and that's just one thing for me. I want them sound. I want them to be able to last and have some longevity, not just in terms of the show ring, but in production. And I want them to get as many years out of them as I can. And I think there's some heifer calves that got a lot of future out here to them. I'm not going to talk each one of these. We did in their respective classes, but we got really good lineups of heifers out here in our class winners and our seconds. I'm going to take a minute here, but again, really good set of heifers. Give them a round of applause. This particular division, a lot of quality. We're going to get you a champion reserve in this division, but a lot of good heifers out here.
And your champion junior heifer calf goes to entry number 40, Miss JMS Celine, L414, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. And your reserve champion heifer calf goes to entry number 43, Miss JMS London, L399, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 28 in your full-blood Braunvieh female show. Again, we're ready for Class 28.
you get in this particular class, and again, a lot of differences here in structure, and in this particular lineup, probably not one that I just 100% love in terms of structure and how they're built and designed. With that being said, the young lady that wins this class, this is a heifer that's got some body and shape and bone. When you set this one into motion, could you make her smoother and better on the move? Yes, you can for me. I'm not just going to necessarily slap that one and call her sound, but I think in terms of the actual amount of heifer that's there and muscle and hip and bone she's got, she still gets out okay enough in this particular class. Like I said, not going to call that one the sound. I want to change her in her hock, but in terms of balance and having some quality, I think she stills better than the two that come down underneath her. Heifer that comes here into second. Again, this is one, you might, when you put her into motion, maybe she gets out with a little bit more reach in that particular area with, when you set her into motion, but just one that you get behind this one, there's not quite as much heifer, not as much center body and muscle. And really where it concerns me on this when you get to studying, they're there at the ground and foot quality, and that's something that just concerns me in terms of longevity. I'd like to give that one some more look. Then the young man here that rounds the class off, this one in terms of just balance I'd like to change. She just looks a little bit more masculine out here, not quite as ladylike, one that you can change in her top and how she balances from a side and give some more to her. And one, again, in terms of her structure, I'd change. She wants to toe out, not quite as good off the front of that spine. But again, just a class that has a lot of structural issues from a soundness standpoint here.
And first place in Class 28 goes to entry number 55, SW Lola, exhibited by Natalie Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And second place in that class goes to entry number 8, MSRFD Reba, exhibited by Eric Pittman of Page, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 54, SW Vivian, exhibited
Well, we get in this class here in our Braunvieh show, and no contest here in this particular class. Young ladies heifer in terms of soundness and structure, hands down excels. She's better off both ends of her spine. She gets out and moves good, and not only does she move good, she holds herself together so well when you set her into motion. As nice as she looks parked right there and balanced in the look she brings to the table, when you set this one into motion, I like her even better. One that's got some muscle and hip, but she's still feminine, just a high quality female that can stand some competition. Then we get into a pair of heifers that, in terms of structure, just concern me quite a bit. The heifer that comes into second, one that's got some more length of spine in her, she's got some more muscle and hip, a little bit more heifer there, but again, you set her into motion, she gets off straight, off both ends of her spine. Just concerns me in terms of the angle of her shoulder and her longevity, but she has the advantage of just having some more heifer there, true heifer there, compared to the heifer that rounds the class off. Heifer that rounds the class off, again, she wants to get tighter up into that heart and forerib and that lower rib shape, one that gets harder and flatter, and her upper and center rib, and you set that one into motion. She just can't get out and go off either end of her skeleton. I really want to change her from a structure standpoint.
First place in Class 29, it goes to entry number 56, SW Maya, exhibited by Ellen Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 100, LLB Miss Oakley, exhibited by Hannah Shoemaker of Page, Texas. And third place goes to entry number 57, Win V K924, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Custer, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your division champion heifer calf.
Again, not as many numbers right here in this particular division as when we were in our last, but, there's some quality out here. And for me, there's a heifer out here that wins it hands down, no competition. She just blows everybody else out of the water in terms of structural soundness and balance and look, and still having some shape and some broodiness and capacity. With that being said, young lady right here in front of me, you'll win our division. Then the young lady right there out of that first class, you'll be our reserve.
And your champion heifer calf goes to entry number 56, SW Maya, exhibited by Elaine Zingelbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And your reserve division goes to entry number 55, SW Lola, exhibited by Natalie Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 32 over in your full-blood Braunvieh female show.
Just two heifers out here, and the heifer that has the advantage in this particular class here just handles herself better out on the move, especially off that rear leg and how she sits on that pasture. One that's got a little bit more balance and look to her and softer body. Just a nice heifer in this particular class that has advantage in terms of structure. Heifer that comes here in second, again, like the rib shape to her, like the length of body, just want to change her out of that hock and off that rear pasture, and for me, make her a little bit more athletic and flexible off those rear two.
And first place in Class 32 and automatic champion intermediate female goes to entry at number 61, RJE Lily Mae 243K, exhibited by Piper Hawkins of Headley, Texas. Second place and automatic reserve division goes to entry number 60, MSGBR Eden, exhibited by Jeremiah Gonzales Jr. of Palestine, Texas. Now in ring is Class 35 purebred.
Again, pretty easy class winner here for me. Heifer that just a big, deep, soggy made type of female that's got some look and balance and gets out with some flex and athleticism. Just a lot of quality here. Young lady does a nice job bringing that one out here for us. Heifer that comes into second, not quite as much heifer there in terms of rib. One again from structure and feet and leg standpoint I changed. Wants to toe out some there off that front end. Just like to make that one a little bit softer bodied and open her up for me.
And first place in Class 35 goes to entry number 65, Miss JMS Beth, K312, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. Second place goes to entry number 64, Win VP Pop-Tart K424, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Custer, Kentucky. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 36 over in your full-blood Braunvieh show.
Again, another good class here. And young lady brings us a really broody cowie type of female to win this class. Big bodied, like how balanced she is from her forerib and carries that back to her flank, but still fresh in her condition, good looking. Again, you set her into motion, she gets out and travels good. A lot of good things that this female brings to the table, wins pretty handily. Then it gets a little closer in contention for second. Young man's heifer here, the heifer that's just a little bit better balanced. She lays into her top a little bit nicer, neater in that pin set than the heifer that follows behind her. A heifer here that doesn't have quite as much muscle shape compared to the heifer in third, but in terms of balance and correctness, I prefer her than the heifer that rounds the class out. Heifer that rounds the class out in terms of foot size and bone and power, really like her there. Just want to change that one there in her hip and there in her hock joint. She wants to be a little bit coarser there for me, make her a little bit better off those rear two in that pastern.
And first place in Class 36 goes to entry number 68, Miss BBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And second place goes to entry number 66, JBB Crystal 246K, exhibited by Colt Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Third place goes to entry number 67, JBB Dolly 15K, exhibited by Eric Pittman of Page, Texas. Excuse me, Eric Pettit of Page, Texas.
Again, good females out in this particular division. Not going to talk each of them again. We did in our respective class, but I think there's two out here. And in terms of quality and soundness and their fundamentals, you could go either way on them. I like them both. We'll go out here and pick them how I see them and like them today. But again, a lot of quality in both these females. A good set of heifers out here. I give the exhibitors a round of applause. We'll get you a division champion in reserve.
And your champion junior heifer goes to entry number 68, Miss BBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingenbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations. And your reserve division goes to entry number 65, Miss JMS Beth K312, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your grand champion, full-blood, purebred Braunvieh female here at the 50th anniversary of the North American. Okay, we are ready to select your grand champion, full-blood, purebred Braunvieh female.
Well, folks, I know we're wrapping up our Braunvieh show today, and here at the 50th North American. And again, privileged to be here to evaluate your cattle here in your Braunvieh show and your beef builders early. A lot of quality in this show, and these females. There's, you get all these females in divisions and reserves. There's good in all of them, and again, there's people along the ringside and at home probably watching, and might have some other favorites outside of what I've picked here, and that's fine. Everybody's got their preferences, but man, I think there's some good females, and I think all these females out here in this particular lineup you could take home, and they can be productive cattle and add to your herds, and they've got some longevity, looks like, and some foot quality and some look to them, and some feeding and fleshing ability. And again, appreciate the Braunvieh Association having me here to North American and everybody that puts this event on. We were here earlier in the week with some cattle, and always, I'm 45 minutes east of here, and always one of my favorite events to come to and exhibit cattle. But again, a lot of quality out here in these division champions, and I think for me there's two that stand apart in terms of how they hold themselves together, their soundness, how they get out and travel, their look, and still got some broodiness and capacity to them. A couple individuals I think are really good and probably can be competitive on down the road at some of the other national shows. So that being said, I'm not going to take up any more of your time with this lineup. Give these Braunvieh exhibitors a round of applause. We'll get you champion, reserve champion. Have a really good set out here.
And your grand champion full-blood Braunvieh female goes to entry number 68, Miss BBB 2232, exhibited by Elin Zingelbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion goes to entry number 40, Miss JMS Celine L414, exhibited by Jalen Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. We do need that grand champion Braunvieh to be making her way to Freedom Hall if they would like to participate in the Supreme Drive. Again, we would need that open grand champion full blood to be making her way to Freedom Hall if they want to participate in the Supreme Drive. We're now ready to start your full-blood bull show with Class 41. Now in the ring is Class 41 bulls. Again, if that grand champion Braunvieh full blood wants to participate in the Supreme Drive, please be making your way to Freedom Hall.
Second. Good class here, and just two in our first class of bulls here and a bull calf. Again, I like both of them. There's a lot of quality in both of them. Just think that young man that wins this particular class here does so in terms, has the advantage in terms of maturity and bone and just some power and some shape to this calf. Still gets out and travels good, a lot of quality to him. Got a younger calf, young lady comes in second. Really like this one, really eye appealing, got a lot of balance. You give this calf another 2-3 months, you probably could switch your placings on these two, but today he's just in terms of his maturity and he just needs additional time and maturity and days on feed to develop. But again, both of those two good bull calves here in our first class.
And first place in Class 41 goes to entry number 76, SW Border Patrol, exhibited by Jeremiah Gonzale of Palestine, Texas. Second place goes to entry number 75, MIP JBB Low Ride 381, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Now entering the ring will be your champion junior full blood percentage junior bull calf. And first place in Class 42 was automatic first place. Entry number 77, Alexander Stetson Thunderstruck, exhibited by Katie Alexander of Brashear, Texas.
You can just, park them there. Okay. Again, not many bulls out here in our bull show, but a lot, there's some quality out here. And there's a couple individuals, I think, in terms of just looking down the road and longevity and what's in front of us today, but also looking down the future and in terms of a herd sire prospect and something that's going to go out and have some quality and cover some cows down the road and the type and kind that you want to replicate. I think there's two out here in this division that work for me really good. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pick your division and reserve division champion. You two, your first class will be your division and reserve. Good pair of bulls out here.
Your champion bull calf goes to entry number 76, SW Border Patrol, exhibited by Jeremiah Gonzale of Palestine, Texas. Your reserve junior bull calf goes to entry number 75, MIP JBB Low Ride 381, exhibited by Camry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations. And Class 45 was a single entry, so first place in automatic champion junior bull goes to entry number 84, N.E. Skinnard, exhibited by Jordan Walker of Teshcombe, Oklahoma. We will now be selecting your grand champion of Beef Builder Bull.
Purebred. These are Braunviehs. We did the Beef Builders, boys.
Excuse me, we will now be selecting your full-blood, purebred bull here at the North American.
Well, folks, I know that people are wanting to get to that Supreme Drive there and Freedom Hall, so I'm not going to take up much more of your time here. But, even with the low numbers on the bulls, there's some quality and some good, and I'm sure you can take these bulls and put into your respective programs and accomplish the things that you're trying to, or, if you're selling bulls for commercial, these bulls got some usefulness. There's some bone and some stoutness and ruggedness in these cattle, even through the heifers that I've seen and witnessed throughout the day here. And again, a lot of quality of these cattle bringing to the table, flesh and ability and longevity. So again, I have to commend our Braunvieh breeders that have come here to the North American to exhibit these cattle. With that being said, something again with this Braunvieh Association that I appreciate is, you know, I don't have a piece of paper out here, and I am fine with that. I'm not against EPDs. Don't get me started on that, because we do sell bulls, and I'm not against them in genomics. But sometimes I think, whether it's the show ring or in the real world, that we've gotten a lot of things thrown at us in terms of just selecting single trait, selecting off numbers and EPDs and ignoring quality. And that's something that I'm not willing to do, not in the show ring or in my own respective breeding program. So again, I appreciate the Braunvieh Association for not throwing that at me, because I've seen some good cattle get beat by a set of numbers, and sometimes I think as cattle breeders, we're focusing a little bit too much on a man-made number instead of what God puts in front of us. So I'm going to go with what I see today, but a lot of good cattle out here throughout this show. Give your Braunvieh breeders a round of applause. Going to get you a champion in reserve.
Let's put your hands together for our judge today, Dustin Ogburn. And your grand champion full-blood Braunvieh bull goes to entry number 84, N.E. Skinnerd, exhibited by Jordan Walker of Tushime, Oklahoma. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion bull goes to entry number 76, S.W. Border Patrol, exhibited by Jeremiah Gonzale of Palestine, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And we will begin on our group classes over in our Braunvieh show.